Welcome to Virtual Southwest. Today we're going to be making salsa from scratch. Well, almost from scratch. Now everybody loves salsa. It is a wonderful staple of every Southwestern meal. Most people have it for an appetizer. Some people have just salsa and chips for their meal. And it's always wonderful to just reach for your favorite jar of salsa, your favorite bottle of salsa, the brand that you always go to. But there's something special about making your own salsa. It does taste a little bit zestier, a little bit fresher. It has a little bit more kick to it, and it's more unique. And I have a wonderful, very hot salsa recipe that I'm going to share with you today and show you how simple it is to make this in just a very short amount of time. Okay, so as you saw on the recipe that flashed on the screen just before we started, you're going to start with 3 cans of diced tomatoes. Now, if you're going to use the canned tomatoes, you're going to go ahead and leave the juice in the can. Don't drain the juice. And if you don't want to use canned tomatoes, then use 4 good-sized, I like to get what are called the beefsteak tomatoes. They're real thick, they have a good thick pulp, they're very firm, and go ahead and remove the stem, wash them, and chop them up. Now, the second ingredient was a can of Rotel tomatoes. If you're not familiar with Rotel tomatoes, it's a brand of tomatoes that's canned and has the green chili already in with the tomatoes. And again, if you don't want to use the canned, go ahead and add 1 more half tomato and maybe a tablespoon of chopped fresh green chili. And that'll make up for the can that you're not using. We're going to use 1 medium onion, white onion, diced. I'm going to use a little bit of a white onion and a little bit of the purple onion. I like them both, but I also like how they taste together, especially in salsa. So I'm going to use a little bit of each of those. 1 clove of garlic, finely chopped. 1 jar of chopped chipotle, and by jar I mean one of these little jars. I think that this is 8 ounces. La costeña. Chopped diced chipotles, and this is in a wonderful sauce. And again, leave it in its sauce because we're going to mix that with it. You're going to use just a tablespoon of white vinegar, a tablespoon of crushed red pepper, and a little bit of salt. I usually don't use too much salt because for salsa, I kind of like to let people salt their own. Plus, there seems to be so much salt on the chips already that you kind of don't need it, but it's always an option. Okay, so I'm just gonna let you look at all these ingredients as I mix them together. Let's start with the diced tomatoes. And the diced tomatoes with green chili. Delightful. Okay. So we're going to use some of the diced white onions. Some of the diced purple onions. All right, now we're going to add the jar of chipotle peppers, chopped chipotle. Oh my goodness, this smells just wonderful. The tomatoes, the onions, and this lovely sauce right here. And I don't even think my spoon is going to fit in there, but I think we got most of it. Oh, doesn't that look delicious? A little bit of the crushed peppers, only about a tablespoon. And yes, I can eyeball a tablespoon. All right. Now, one of the ingredients that I didn't list was chopped jalapenos. You can add some chopped jalapenos. You can, if you want to use fresh jalapenos, get about 4 good-sized jalapenos, cut the stem off, split them down the middle, take most of the seeds out, and chop them very finely. And if you want to use diced jalapenos, go ahead and buy the can of diced jalapenos, and you're going to use maybe about a cup. But make sure if you're using the jalapenos from the can, that in this case you do drain the jalapenos, you drain the juice out before you mix it in. So we're going to add a little bit of the jalapenos. This is going to be just wonderful. And in case you're wondering what chipotle is actually jalapenos. It's when you've let the jalapeno ripen, turn red, but stay fresh on the vine, and while it's still fresh, they smoke it. So that's where you get that wonderful smoky flavor in the chipotle that it's really unlike anything else in New Mexico. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stir all of this up. Oh boy, this looks so good. And this is a wonderful standalone salsa. It's good for tacos. It's good for burritos, enchiladas, tostadas. A nice complement to any Mexican meal. And certainly one of the great secrets of the Southwest. Doesn't that just look marvelous? Yum. Now comes the hard part, the waiting. The waiting is the hardest part. So you're going to go ahead and cover your salsa, and you're going to refrigerate it for at least an hour because you want everything to kind of merge together a bit. If you could really let it chill overnight, that'd be awesome, but if you can't, that's okay. An hour in the refrigerator should do just fine. So we're gonna let our magic potion in the salsa work its magic, and we'll see how it is in about 30 minutes.
And we're rolling.
All right, well, the time has come to see how our salsa has come out. We've let this chill for a little while. As I mentioned earlier, it's preferable to let it chill overnight if you can, but at least a half hour or an hour should be fine. I should also mention that in the recipe, I featured a bit of vinegar, a tablespoon of vinegar, which I forgot to put in during my original mixing, but I remembered and added it, stirred it in, so don't forget the vinegar. We're gonna see how this tastes. Oh, doesn't that look marvelous? Oh, delicious. That's pretty good, if I do say so myself. You notice I'm using blue corn chips. I like blue corn chips better. They're slightly more nutritious than regular corn chips. A bit more antioxidants and fiber and such. And in case you're wondering how this serving size magically grew in the refrigerator, I doubled up on the recipe to make it larger. So, because I was making a bigger amount, because I want to eat all of this. Thank you for joining us for Virtual Southwest. I'm Marty Martinez, and it has been a lot of fun this semester bringing you all these recipes and the fun things about living in the Southwest. One of the best things about living in the Southwest is certainly the food, and I'm happy to have been able to share that with you. So thank you to Charles Gwinn and the UNM Outdoor Adventure Program, UNM Recreational Services, and I want to thank my mom for giving me good taste and good cooking skills. So, until next time, everybody, happy eating. Delicious.
Pretty good, sir.